Welcome back, guys. Today I want to talk about how you can make your truck work for you and really make your life easier and do all the things you want to do. So first of all, on the outside, really the only huge thing of note I would say is tires. Putting a tire on that has either really good street ability if you're only staying on the street, or really good off-road ability if you're going off-road is always a good it's always a good thing. So the other thing is running boards. If you're shorter or you just don't want to have to hop all the way up, or if you have a shorter girlfriend, in my case, the running boards come in handy. And then the thing that nobody has in their car, but they should have close by, is a fire extinguisher. If things are to go wrong, you want to have quick access to one. I like to leave a pair of gloves right here, just so I don't get in and out of the truck and get my hands all dirty if I'm working on stuff. This is a bit of a mess right now, but sometimes I'll leave napkins in here. Usually I don't, because in the console, whoops, that was good. I've got paper towels. I actually have a roll of Gorilla duct tape. There's a roll of electrical tape. I'll get to why I leave these in here later. There's some just like wet wipes and, oh my gosh, what the heck is this stuff called? Hand sanitizer. There's more Gorilla duct tape. Bunch of spare water bottles. Now, I really don't like drinking water out of plastic bottles that have been baking in the sun. However, they're there as backup, just in case. I don't really drink them too much. We don't need that in there, actually. I got a pair of earplugs, because, I use loud power tools and stuff sometimes, just as a backup. Dog poop bags. If you got a dog, you'll understand that. This is a bit of a mess, a little bit messy looking right now, but I have wired USB-C with an iPhone adapter because my girlfriend's phone's iPhone, and then I've just got my wireless wireless charger adapter there. I purposely plugged them into here because this is a higher wattage outlet than the Android Auto outlet, which this is a wireless Android Auto adapter, which is super convenient. And then what else we got here, folks? Okay, auxiliary switches. Most modern trucks have these, so this is relevant to basically anyone, especially if you have a Ford, because they have 6 of them. This is my exhaust valve. I have a video on that. I'll link over here. Close, open. It just makes the exhaust a little louder. It's really for the vanity of it. There's no functional use. This, however, is for my auxiliary fuel tank. That one is important because that allows me to extend my range. I'll show you the auxiliary fuel tank in a minute. So that's just kind of what we got in this area of the truck. We hop back out here. Moving to the back, I've got some, you're going to see a theme here. There's a lot of tools just strewn around. I've got fuel, dry gas. It's a really worn out bottle of it. Some dielectric grease, which that one I don't use too much, but it's kind of like there if I'm in my camper or something. And then dog bowls, some shackles. This is actually spray like degreaser and cleaners, just little tiny bottles of it. A ball for the doggy. Grease for my hitch. Make sure we didn't get any grease on the ball, okay? The dog crate so that he doesn't destroy my interior. And then this is the big thing. Tools, power tools, more tools, wrenches. This is where all my tools are. So if I'm on the road and something happens, there's enough tools in this whole area of the truck to pretty much get me out of any reasonable situation. I also can carry more, of course, from going a long distance away. This crate can unzip, fold up flat, and just go in the bed so you can get your seat back. Now, it is a mess down here, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this super easily. Ugh. Things I do for you guys. I've just got this backpack here, a little bit more tools and stuff, and I've got ratchet straps hiding in there. I got some in the bed too. A little bit more crap in the doors. I've actually got wood screws in here. There's a bungee hiding under there, and just some bags. I find that they actually come in handy more than you might think. And then up front, we've got a bottle of Crown, my favorite lubricant protectant, and a bottle of brake cleaner. So just a good multi-usage there. Also added a little pull tab here, so you can fold down this seat, which you cannot do from the factory, which gives you a little bit of extra storage. As you can see there, I got the air pump, and there's a bunch of random stuff in that. Behind this stock, you can do the same thing. Got jumper cables, and then a little toe strap, and there's some other stuff in here. I will do a whole video on what tools I keep in the truck, but I just want to make that a separate thing because I think that'll get really long and all the explanations as to why. But the really short version of it is multimeter, oscilloscope, wrenches, sockets, ratchets, impact, regular drill with all the bits and drill bits and stuff, ratchet straps. There's random like electrical wire and stuff like that in here, jumper cables, there's a jump pack, and then some other odds and ends. That's the real high level. Like I said, I'll make a video separate to this that explains it all in depth, but it gives you a rough idea. All right, we'll go back to the back here. I'll show you guys some stuff back here. So in every truck I've ever owned, which is only 2 of them, I always carry a bin. And I just have this bin so if I ever need to haul light stuff, I can throw it into the bin and it's not just rolling around the bed the whole time, which is super nice. And I've got the hitch in the bin right now just because I do. I normally don't leave it in here. It just happens to be in here. This is some that pallet wrap stuff. This is super nice because if you're trying to haul furniture on a pinch, you know, when it's raining out, you can. I left my bungee cords in here. Just kind of random assortment of stuff. That bin, which we can go into in depth in a video on, but that bin has a little bit of oil, transmission fluid, brake fluid. It's just kind of like one of each fluid, just if you're in a real pinch, to try to help get yourself out of it. We'll pop the tonneau here, so we can get a closer up look to things. Obviously this bin can float around wherever I deem it needs to be. This is the auxiliary fuel tank. I have a whole video on the install of this, so you can check that out if you want. But it's pretty simple. It's ratchet strapped in, so I can take it out. It's on a quick disconnect fuel fitting. This is 20 gallons. It makes a world of difference. I can also sneak stuff underneath it, which is super nice. And then speaking of that, I've got, they're actually like camper leveling blocks under here. They just come in handy if you're working on different stuff on the side of the road, if you got to get a tire up higher or boost your jack up or something like that. This redneck setup here is the start of a prototype for a winch mount that I'm making to pull my motorcycle up into the bed and like lawnmowers and stuff. It works great. I just need to find a way to fix this. This is just a temporary setup I have. These 2 yellow bars are made by a company called Tailgate Support, or DG Manufacturing. I actually really like these. They go in your, they go from the latch to the post here, so that you're not riding all your weight on the tailgate straps. Those straps will bend over time or stretch over time. This is the power, which is a little bit overkill size, but power for that winch, and you get a cover for that. And then I'm a big fan of soft roll-up tonneaus. When I put the motorcycle in here, obviously I rolled this up terribly, but when I put the motorcycle in, it folds flat to the window so everything fits. A tri-fold or a hard fold, they take up a lot of space in the front of the bed. So it's kind of annoying. I do also need to get a bed liner sprayed in eventually for this. As you can see, I have a video on this. I have some good sized kind of divots in here from hauling my trailer hitch and letting it rattle around the aluminum bedside. So that is one disadvantage that I do need to get taken care of. So I'm a huge fan of the rubber bed liners. I find that it makes kneeling on your bed much easier. Stuff sticks to it. So like the bin, for example, doesn't really slide around that much, which is super nice. I've added random straps and I added that chain in the front. All these things just help with random hauling of stuff. I do wish, however, that this had the tailgate step, which it does not. And I also wish I had a dampened tailgate, which I also don't have. I can luckily add that. And then finally, I want to add the bed lights, which go in these cutouts right here. There's a kit for that as well, so I might add those. Those are all things that a Lariat or an even higher trim premium package would have had. XLT Premium would have had, so that would be nice. And I don't have a gooseneck, which I don't need a gooseneck at the moment. I'm going to go inside so I have better wind protection. But I don't need a gooseneck at the moment. However, I think it'd be very nice to have because, you know, just in case, right? And it kind of sucks to install one. You got to pull the bed of the truck off and get under there, and or you can do the aftermarket ones, but it is nice to have the OEM one, and it's a bit of a bear to install. So I do wish it had it, but not a big deal. The only other thing I really want to do with this truck is just get a good ceramic coat and a buff, or a buff and then ceramic coat, I should say, just to kind of clean up the paint a little bit. It's in good shape, but it could use a buff, right? And then I might tune it at some point. You know, I mean, I really don't need to. It's got plenty of power, but just make it shift a little nicer and all that kind of stuff. Make it a little bit more usable for day-to-day driving. Never hurts. The reason I got an XLT Premium, and this is something that, again, when you're looking for a truck you really want to consider and spec out, I didn't want to spend a ton of money. This gives me a pretty nice cloth. I like the interiors on these. You still have the heated seats, which was a must for me. I don't mind the manual HVAC. I don't mind the smaller screen. I do mind the non-leather wrap wheel, but it kind of is what it is. I don't mind the less techy gauge cluster. And, 90% of what I wanted on the interior this truck does have. It also has a manual tilt front seat, kind of annoying. So there's some negatives, but it's a lot cheaper than a Lariat, right? So you gotta take your trade-offs, where you're okay with them. I actually prefer the plastic dashes and door panels. A lot of people don't like it. I actually prefer it because I can clean it easier. I mean, I get these trucks dirty. I mean, it's very clean right now, but I get the truck dirty pretty often, and I don't want to be trying to clean leather, and then you get leather cracks because of the sunlight. Like, these consoles eventually start cracking here, but then if you have leather everywhere, it cracks everywhere, and so that's kind of annoying. So I don't really care to mess with all that stuff. A Lariat would be plenty for me. This XLT Premium's fine too. And that sort of thing. So another thing that I've done with this truck to really make it work for me is I got one that has a 10,000 pound GVWR right there, which gives me 3115 payload. I'm going to explain why I did that. It also has 355 gears, and that combination for me personally is perfect because I'm not towing anything super heavy. My camper is like 7,000 pounds. Put some stuff in the bed, not a big deal. And the truck is really overkill. You could really almost get away with a half ton to do what I'm doing. And the reason I went with 3/4 ton is because of the payload with the bike in the bed. That 3115 number is plenty of payload for me that way. A half ton, even pushing 2,000, 1,800 or so, it's just not quite enough, right? So, but to keep this more generalized, I think you can really spec a truck to suit exactly what you need the most. So the 10K GVW is plenty for me, but it also reduces my tolls cost, it reduces my insurance costs here in New York State, and it just kind of overall reduces the cost burden of the vehicle on me, which is really nice. People don't really think about it, but a 250 is cheaper in some states than a 350 by a good margin for that reason. I also have the 355 rear end ratio for similar reasons. I'm not towing anything super heavy, so if I can squeak out a little bit of a fuel economy increase, that's super helpful. And it's kind of a why not. I also got the FX4 package because I don't really go off road a lot anymore, but I wanted the locker. I wanted the skid plates just in case, so that's always a nice little package to get. It's also kind of a no penalty package, right? You don't really lose like payload or anything because of it. A Tremor, you lose a little bit of towing and payload. So if you don't need the off-road, it's kind of silly to get a Tremor, in that sense, right? Let's see. Why did I choose the Duratrax? Well, for me personally, I wanted a tire that's really good in the snow, which they are, and still pretty good off-road. Not because I go off-road a lot, but because when I'm towing my camper, if I happen to get into some softer terrain in like a campground or something, you'd be shocked at how quick you can get a truck stuck on on loose terrain. So you really kind of need to make sure you have the right tire for that application. So those are just some of the ways that I make my truck work for me. And a couple things to note. All the tools are in the cab because I have a crew cab, so I have a lot of space, and I don't want to take up bed space, right? I opted to get a short bed truck and not a long bed, so I don't want to take up more and more and more bed space and turn my long bed into a short bed, which I think a lot of people do and maybe don't realize it. These are 6'10" beds, a long bed's 8 foot. So just by keeping a foot of tools kind of out of the front of the bed, you know, you sort of kept your same bed length. I'm not trying to make a case to not buy a long bed. I think long beds are great overall. I just kind of giving you some of my logic here. But yeah, this truck works great for what I'm doing with it. I think you just really got to ask yourself, you know, what cab configuration you want, what, you know, what bed length you want, what you're going to do with it. Obviously, if you want to go like 2,500, 3,500, 1,500, whatever, figure all that stuff out. And this video is more kind of about just interior wise and function wise. Once you get whatever truck you chose is the right truck for you, how you can then make that truck work for you. So anyways, guys, as always, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.